Fram, are you a big road trip person?
Yeah, I love road trips and snacks.
Yeah, and when you're even going from Atlanta, like when I go visit you, for instance, in Tennessee, we come across all these little gas stations, and some of them with little side pocket barbecue places built into them. There's one in Dunwoody here, which I would argue is one of the best burgers I've ever had. It's called NFA Burger, and it's Dunwoody in a Chevron gas station.
I believe it. You can find little gems all over the place.
And hey, NFA, I know you guys listen to the Morning X, so thank you. And it's an incredible burger, and if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. So brilliantly, someone has come up with a whole idea around gas station food. Please welcome Kate Medley to the Morning X. Hey, Kate.
Good morning. It's so good to be with y'all. Thank you for having me.
Of course, the photojournalist whose work has appeared in little magazines like the New York Times.
Oh, yes, small.
And she's got a book coming out called Thank You, Please Come Again, How Gas Stations Feed and Fuel the American South. What a great idea. How did you land on that?
I've been interested in this topic since I was a kid growing up in Mississippi, where, like for many of y'all, you can get some of the best food at gas stations around the South, as you just mentioned, Barn. I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, and the only place to get Indian food in that town was at the Sitco. And the Sitco was run by a couple of Indian descent, and the proprietor's wife, she would make the food of her youth, of her family, at home, and she'd bring it into the gas station and sell it out of Tupperware containers. And it was the best and only Indian food I could get. So this has been percolating for a while.
It's so interesting because, growing up in the South and living in the South, I love going to small towns, Kate. How long did it take you to research all of this and actually put a book out about it?
I've been working on it for about 10 years. Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I would think it's not a fast thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, people send me recommendations. I would love it if your listeners would send me recommendations of some of these. These spots tend to be they can be a little hidden, a little hard to discover as you're passing through a small town.
I have one for you. I have one. Yeah. I just did a road trip. I road trip to Mississippi. It was last summer. And going through Tupelo, because I had to go see Elvis's home, the beginning. I never went there when I was a kid. And I went to a place called the Neon Pig.
Nice.
And that burger was one of the best I've ever had. Phenomenal burger. So note that in your little list. It's worth checking out. It's in a strip mall.
I will add that to the growing list. There is a lot of Mississippi representation in this book. We've covered about 10 states, including Georgia.
I have one more for you, and you may have this in your book. Westport Flea Market in Kansas City, Missouri.
I didn't get that far.
It's a flea market, and they have a flea burger. It's called the Flea Burger, and it's off the hook.
Barnes is putting out his own book.
Hell yeah, I'm starting my book right now.
Barnes, let's jump in the car.
I love this. We're talking to Kate Medley. She's got this book coming out in the fall. Thank you. Please come again. How gas stations feed and fuel the American South. Let's talk a little bit about the community that these gas stations serve, the fabric of their community. Talk a little bit about that, Kate.
Sure. The places that I've visited, Barnes and Leslie, your listeners will recognize these places. These are the gas stations that are on your way home. They are around the corner from your mama's house. You'll recognize the hand-painted signs, the smell of frying oil, the live bait, the generous welcome as you walk in the door. Once you start looking for these gas stations are everywhere. They have these food stalls in the back of the Citgos and the Exxons and the Shell stations. What really fascinated me about them, honestly, is that these are sort of third spaces in our lives where we all go, regardless of how old we are, regardless of our skin color, our politics. We all pass through these spaces, and that's rare in the South these days.
It is weird how this thing became a thing. I'd love to know where the first one, where like you talked about the Tupperware, bringing the dishes up, setting up like a Kool-Aid stand almost. Mm-hmm. and getting people trained. Think about how hard that is, trained to go to your place. Tell us about some of the places driving distance of Atlanta that people can maybe jot down or remember that you recommend that might make your book.
Yeah, so I have been long wanting to go on taqueria tour of Atlanta gas stations. So here's where I'd like to start. I mean, it comes as no surprise to anyone. I would start smack in the middle of Beaufort Highway. I've been dying to check out this place called Salsa Taqueria. It's in an old Shell station. People have been telling
that one.
Yeah, I haven't been. People have been telling me about their burrito taco. They also do tortas. You know, maybe a taco torta situation.
I'm writing this down. What's that one again? Salsa what?
That one is Salsa Taqueria.
Okay.
So I would carry on from there over to the Riverside area to Taqueria Mammy. It's inside a mobile gas station, and they do lamb barbacoa. They're also making their own tortillas. I mean, a lot of these places, you'll see these people in the back, and they are just hand-patting tortillas as the lunch crowd comes through. A lot of these places are really servicing a worker crowd, and so people are coming through looking for something quick, not expensive, reliable, that they can take and eat on the road. I'd carry on to Taqueria Morello, which is in Marietta. It's inside of Chevron. They, too, are making their own tortillas. I've heard about their pastor tacos. They're making their own tomatilla salsa. And, you know, honestly, these are 3 out of probably a dozen of taquerias and gas stations in Atlanta that I'd like to visit.
Man, this whole underworld. Like, it's a complete underworld of food, and it's actually usually pretty good food.
Some of the best chefs in the South.
Yes, it's making me super hungry. I do have to ask you this because, you know, traveling through Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia on road trips with my husband, he loves boiled peanuts. But what are some of the most interesting foods that you have personally found?
Woo, that's a hard question.
Like random ones?
Yeah, the food that she loves, like what, you know, that you wouldn't even expect at a gas station.
I got to tell you, Louisiana delivers hard on this front.
Flexing.
What's that?
Flexing they are.
Louisiana is certainly flexing on this front. I would go down to New Orleans where you can find a Cajun banh mi sandwich in the back of a Texaco right outside of New Orleans called Banh Mi Boys. A Cajun garlic butter shrimp banh mi. Woo! Delicious.
That's death. Instant.
Or heaven.
Well, yeah, depends, I guess, what mood you're in. But I don't know about you guys, but if I pull up to a gas station and they do have that little food component, something like sushi, there's no way I want to eat sushi from a gas station sushi place.
Oh, Barnes, but I got to tell you, come on up to North Carolina.
Oh, Barnes.
I'm in Durham, and this place in Apex, it's called Akami Sushi. It's in an old BP.
There is one?
There is some of the best sushi in the South in Apex, North Carolina, at this old BP. It's called Andy Hugo's. You walk in, and you'll be looking around for the sushi, and the cashier will say, gas station sushi?
Wow.
And she'll usher you to the back through this dark door.
Oh, it's hidden?
It's hidden.
It's a hidden, like...
It's a little bit hidden.
Okay.
You gotta walk past the bathrooms down that corridor, and then you enter this magical space where, believe it or not, the chef, Bird is his name, he's going to serve you some hamachi jalapeno carpaccio, some seared salmon belly. I mean, it's going to knock your socks off.
Wow.
Fram, this is a business opportunity. Someone really needs to form a company that just goes in and finds these like really old gas stations and builds out inside and gets some sort of like, I don't know if a brand, but possibly a different, you know what I'm saying? Like a...
Well, it does help a lot of small businesses. You know, it's kind of like the food truck industry. So I'm really fascinated by this. And by the way, when your book is coming out just in time for the holidays as a great holiday gift.
Yeah, this is cool. The book title, I don't know how it's going to fit on the front. It's called Thank You, Please Come Again, How Gas Stations Feed and Fuel the American South. That's coming out to pre-order at the Bitter Southerner, right?
It's coming out with the Bitter Southerner in October, early October, just in time for Christmas. And it's really, it's truly a gorgeous coffee table book. I got to give a shout out to Dave Whitling. He's the designer at the Bitter Southerner. He's a genius. And he has just done such an incredible job making this like truly a gift, an art book.
Love it. Hey, if you would you send a list of those Atlanta places over to Matt, our producer, who you spoke with, and that way he can put it on our website so
Yes.
people who want to find it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Great idea.
Kate, thank you very much. Kate Medley, we appreciate you coming on.
Barnes and Leslie, I can't thank you enough. I look forward to road tripping with you.
Yeah, we'll see you
Thank
soon
you.
for some sushi in the back, scary place in North Carolina. Bye.
Bye.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie.
Yum, yum.
99X.